on my way to Sweet Peeps Microsanctuary. And what is somewhat unique about Sweet Peeps is they are a chicken-only sanctuary.
Okay, you want me to help carry anything? Take that?
I'm going to carry that. Yeah, that
okay.
Help. Thank you.
Sure. Good to know. So where did you like I said, Abby's gonna bark her head off at you. We're okay, Abby, you're okay. And then she's just gonna have to come say hello.
Hi.
And she basically just like needs to know that you're not a threat. She can scare people, but it's totally fear-based. Like she's not an aggressive dog at all. She's just a very, very scared dog. All right, so that's us. This is Rami. I'm going to introduce you to everybody we see. So that's Rami. Rami's like, you can kind of tell he's like missing this little foot. He's also missing a leg on the other side. He's like, he's got like a hip and that's all. But then, you know, obviously they're all rescues. This little guy has more personality than anybody you'll ever meet. Well, although right now he's not showing it, but he will. So this is Esther, and actually I'd like to change Esther's pad. So Esther, she has some like kind of chronic, we don't even really know what it is. Like she's been to the vet a million times. She's had some more concrete issues, but like at this point, all of her diagnostics are fine. And there's nothing like identifiably wrong with her, but she just doesn't do well in the heat. She was always bottom of the pecking order in her flock. And so she's just happier inside. And so, yeah, yep. So I think this is Dinosaur Train, which is a favorite. She's not the first chicken to enjoy this particular, yep. Abby, you're doing so good, ma'am. Rami Squish, hi. Just say hello. Hi, Mommy. Oh, hi, Mommy. Squish, squish. Mommy, Mommy. And he just like, he gets around so well. Like he actually, like when he was a baby, he had a bunch of surgeries and just needed like tons of bandage wraps and stuff. And, but he kind of like rules the house now. Like he gets up on the top of scratching posts and he goes up and down the stairs. Look at him. And he wants attention all the time. Squish, squish, squish. Squishy, squishy, squishy. Oh, and like, yeah. And Abby, as much as like she can bark so much at people, but she's the gentlest dog in the whole world. And she like, the cats love her. The cats act like Abby is like covered in catnip. So Hyam, she came with a group who had come from Kaporos. Do you know about Kaporos? So Kaporos is this like, in Brooklyn. There's this like fanatical sect of Jews. It's totally not it's like not a tradition within mainstream Judaism at all. I think most Jews think it's a complete abomination of their religion and tradition, but there is this fanatical sect of Jews in Brooklyn who every year do on Yom Kippur, they do something called Kaporos, and they like think that they can transfer their sins. So Yom Kippur is this day of atonement. I'm half Jewish. I grew up celebrating Yom Kippur. It's a beautiful holiday where we like atone for our sins of the past year and we recommit to our ethical principles. And there's this fanatical sect who believe that they can transfer their sins to other living beings, to chickens in particular. And so every year in Brooklyn, about 60,000 Cornish Crosses, like which is the main breed we have here, the main breed used by the meat industry, about 60,000 of them are killed in the streets of Brooklyn every year during this ritual. And there are these amazing activists who go every year and usually rescue a couple hundred. So Hyam was one of them. She came here with 9 other babies rescued from Kaporos. And initially we thought she was a rooster, and she lived with the roosters until the roosters got to be about 6 months old, which is when their hormones really kick in, at which point it became clear that she was a girl and getting a ton of unwanted attention.
Come on, boo-boos. I didn't mean to pull you out of the shade. So these are the Georgia girls, and the Georgia girls like are some of the sweetest people you'll ever meet in your whole life. But girlies, I want you to come back in the shade. Is that okay? Come back. It's too hot in the sun. So Georgia girls with all their dirty little heads, they were at a factory farm in Georgia that was hit by a tornado, and it destroyed the sheds and killed thousands of birds, but there were at least hundreds of survivors, a lot of them with really serious injuries. And somehow like animal, vegan activists somehow found out. I see posts all the time, actually, after natural disasters, where people are like trying to, if a truck turns over on the highway or a tornado hits a chicken house, where, people go, if there's anyone in the area, people will go and see if they can save anyone. And so somehow activists like found out about this and went onto the property and found these live birds, and the corporate owners had sent in bulldozers to like scoop up the wreckage, including live animals. And when they found out that there were activists going to rescue, they called the police, and the activists, I can't remember if they were actually arrested or if they were just threatened with arrest. But I had seen a post like looking for homes for survivors, and then the conversation like ended, and I just assumed that they hadn't been able to get any before the activists had been kicked out or arrested or whatever. And it was like weeks later that somebody contacted me and asked me if I could take in 7 of the Georgia survivors. And I was like, oh, I thought that you weren't able to, I didn't think anybody had been rescued. And they said they had been, but they had to do it inconspicuously because they were getting arrested for trying to save these animals. And so I got 7 of them who all had various injuries. One of them, I took them all. So they had been like triaged at a local vet. And then there was kind of a transport chain that brought them here. And they arrived like one evening. And in the morning, I took them all to the vet. We determined one of them, her injuries were too severe. And the most humane thing was to euthanize her. But the other 6 came home with me. And there's only 3 left. So 3 have died, but they will also be 6. I'm trying to think. So we think when they got here, they were actually like a year old. But so this is like what's strange about that is that normally, right, Cornish crosses on factory farms are killed. They're sent to slaughter at 6 to 8 weeks old. But like one thing I had never thought about before them is that all of those chickens had a mom. They at the hatchery, they have adult hens who are laying eggs, and then the eggs all go into an incubator where they're hatched, and then they're sent to the factory farm to raise them before they're then sent to slaughter, right? But these were the moms, and they typically will keep the moms alive until they're maybe like a year and a half, and then they also get sent for slaughter. But they live longer than like any other factory farmed chicken does. And so when they got here, we guessed they were about a year old. So they will be 6 next spring.
like, so JoJo Eloise, you met JoJo when you were here, and I can't remember if we talked about her story, but when I think about, like what does it take for an animal to trust, to learn to trust when they come here? So this is like when I think about, so much of it just is just who they are, and when they get here, and I guess, providing the right conditions for them. But like JoJo Eloise, she had been kept at this factory farm where she was one of the breeding moms. Tornado knocked down the factory, and she didn't, no food or water, living in filth for weeks before she was rescued. She got here, she couldn't walk, she was so weak. Her sisters had varying degrees of injuries, from deep lacerations to broken bones. She didn't have any like obvious wounds, but she couldn't walk when she got here. And I remember one day I took her outside because she didn't have any lacerations or anything, she could be outside. And I was doing some gardening. It was spring. It was about a month after they had gotten here. I put her under the shade of the persimmon tree while I was doing some gardening, and she hadn't walked since she got here. And at some point I looked over and she was like taking a couple steps toward me, a couple like wobbly steps. And then she'd like plop down and rest. And then she'd take a couple more steps, plop down and rest. And I just sat and kind of like watched her. And she ended up coming all the way over and climbing into my lap. And then for her whole life, she loved to be held, loved to be snuggled. She was a chicken who I could hand off to a visitor, and she enjoyed, loved the attention. She was so comfortable. She obviously felt very safe here. And I mean, she was safe here, but I don't know. There was no reason for her to think that she could trust a human being when she got here, And I think it was a combination of just her nature, her just incredibly sweet nature, like so filled with goodness. And then this was a safe space where nobody was going to hurt her. And I don't know, it was just kind of a combination. But not everybody in her flock who came here out of that situation was that trusting. So since you've been here, I don't know if you saw my post recently, but JoJo just died. There were 3 Georgia girls, and they would always come running around the corner at snack time. And that day only 2 came running around the corner. So Violet, my helper, came and found me and said she couldn't find the 3rd Georgia girl. And in my mind, I knew it was JoJo. But she looked about as peaceful as it could have been. She was right across from Harry, her boyfriend Harry, and right in the area where all the Georgia girls like to just hang out and dust bathe. And she was just in this shady little spot in the bushes. She was just an angel. She was just a perfect little angel, and I couldn't be in her presence without feeling more of all of those qualities, really. Yeah, she just was a incredibly special little person, and I will hold her in my heart forever. So, when people met JoJo Eloise, I mean, I think that people were just always so surprised at how incredibly sweet she was. I think I remember a girl coming and visiting Heidi, a really sweet girl who was not vegetarian at all. And she held JoJo and rubbed her little cheeks, and JoJo snuggled in like she would do. And I remember Heidi saying, I had no idea that this is what chickens were like. How could I eat somebody who's like this? And she never ate chicken again. We've stayed in touch. It's been years since she was here and visited. JoJo just left such an impression on her heart that she left here a changed person. I think anybody who held JoJo and saw how snuggly and loving, and just you couldn't be in her presence without without feeling how gentle and innocent and pure and sweet and loving and good she was. And I just think, people have no idea who chickens are.
but they don't think about, most people don't think about who chickens are. But if they do, they just have all of these terribly wrong misperceptions. People think that they're not smart. They think that they don't have personalities. They think that they're not capable of like an emotional connection. And JoJo Eloise just defied all of that in 1 second. You held her in your arms and she would speak her little language and was the sweetest voice in the whole world. And she would look at you with her, very conscious eyes. And you could see intelligence. And for whatever reason, she trusted people. Like she had no reason to trust humans. But she, I think, always, she trusted me. And when I, put her in somebody else's arms, I think she just felt safe.
Like all the flocks have, little shorthand names. This is little girls. They are the newest. Yeah, look, do you see them all coming out? So Sunshine, who is inside, who you met, Sunshine is one of this flock, and then all the little boys out front, who we'll go see in a little bit, but they were all dumped on the side of the road in Mobile 3 years ago, and somebody found them like in a box, and I saw a post online. I'm gonna just turn this off for a second, just so we can talk. Again, somebody tagged me in a post online about these all these chickens who had been dumped, and in the post, it was like half the people didn't know that they were Cornish crosses, and some people said they would take them, but everybody, and I thought anybody who takes a Cornish cross and doesn't know their special needs, they're not going to do well. And then the people who did know they were Cornish crosses, they were all making comments like, "Oh, that's a Cornish. It's like you have to kill them by the time they're 8 weeks old." And of course, you don't have to kill them. But I think it's like, sort of like the story that people tell themselves. Maybe it makes them feel better about killing them. It's like, oh, if you don't kill them, they'll suffer. And obviously, that's nonsense. As you can see, all these kids are thriving and living like very happy lives. They do, though, need some special care. So I saw that post, and I originally just thought, well, I'm just going to take them and I'm going to try to find homes for them. But again, like finding really good homes for chickens generally, but especially for Cornish crosses, is like not easy. All the sanctuaries that I know of, like everyone's full, and I'm not going to let anybody. I wasn't going to find, give these chickens to a non-vegan home. So after a couple months of like trying to find good homes for them, I just sort of accepted that we had 13 new chickens. So the little girls, this is their space. So, all right. So those are little girls. And then here, I'll show you their yard. Oh yeah. And we can walk around. You can see the rest of it. But so, and then, so these are Colorado girls. Is that fan really gonna, should I turn it back off for now? I don't mind turning it off. I turned it off when we were just talking because it's so loud, but should I turn it off right now? You think it's okay? Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, so these are Colorado girls, and there's actually also another Kaporos baby is in here. I think inside right now. So yeah, so they generally, I don't know what it is, 93 degrees or something right now. So they really do make use of their air-conditioned barn. So they are in there a lot. I think the ones we don't see are in there, and they're really, I think, only out here right now because they know snack is on the way. Yeah, I think, so they will all be out for snack soon. And then, yeah, they're like, where is snack? What are you doing here? It's 12:30 and you don't have snack. This is Amma. Mo. And so This is like, oh yeah, so okay, so this is them. This all gets like locked up at night, right? And then in the mornings, the little doors to their coops open up automatically, and they have access to all of this. But this is all closed, and this is all designed to be like very predator proofed, so that no predators can get in. And then during the days, the doors get opened up, and then they have access to these bigger yards. I'm gonna turn that off so I don't have to scream for a minute. But so this is the like main rooster yard. These are all the boys who are out here now. They're all the quote little boys, which obviously they're not very little, but they're part of that group that was dumped in Mobile, group of 13. And they just turned 3. This is Hafiz here, and Hafiz is a big sweet pea. Right now he's tidbitting, actually. So he's just like, roosters do this thing. For hens, they like will pick up like the best like morsel of food and give it, although he also wants to come over here and fight with Marley. But he was trying to tidbit us, and then he got distracted wanting to fight his brother. And Hafiz is a big sweet pea, but he gets very he's kind of high strung, I would say, but he's also a big sweet pea. This is Vishnu, and Vishnu is also a big sweet pea. Hey, boo-boo. Look at that. Yes, he's the handsomest and he's the sweetest. Isn't that right, Vishnu? Hello, boo-boo. Hello, bubby. Hello, bubby. And we'll just complete the tour, and I'll introduce you to these two. Although, well, I don't know. We might not go in. Ziggy, well, I'll show you. So Ziggy, if anybody is going to bite, it's Ziggy. But it's usually, oh, he's not even going to do it now. Usually he just comes at my ankle. And and I feel like, but Ziggy is like a good example of like, people think that roosters are aggressive, right? And if you respond to their aggression with aggression, they get more aggressive. So Ziggy, he sometimes will come out and like peck at your ankle. That's like not that big of a deal, but a lot of people would like kick them, or they just will be aggressive with them. And if you did that with him, he would be so much worse. Like they're gonna, if you're aggressive with them, they're gonna fight back out of like defensiveness. But for the most part, it's like the more that we handle them, the friendlier they are. Like this guy, excuse me, buddy, I think that's too long. I just want to break it up. Like he used to be a good bit more aggressive. I mean, even now, like he might try to bite my finger. Hello, can I look at this? Look at this. I just don't want you to eat such long pieces. Sometimes sometimes he might peck at my arm. But again, it's like if he breaks skin, which he usually doesn't, it's not like a big deal. Like it's like a cat bite will kill you. I mean, and I love cats. I love cats. But I mean, a cat bite can be serious, a dog bite can be serious. A rooster bite is like not. They don't have like some crazy bacteria in their mouth. It's like a superficial little wound. But so I've gotten bit a few times by him, but then you just don't react. And then look, and then he just becomes like a sweet baby. Like this is our aggressive rooster. Is that right, Ziggy? Oh, are you the aggressive one? Boo boo. Oh, that's a bubby. Oh my goodness, Ziggy. Is that all you ever wanted? Yes. And I think actually like part of why he's gotten like sweeter over time is because he's had bumbles. And so we have to take him in and give him foot baths and wrap his feet. And so he's just gotten used to being handled. And I swear the cheek rub thing is like universal. Like they all just seem to just snuggle in and like love it. And then the last boy on the tour is sweet little Kashanti. And Kashanti is like another one of the
extra, extra sweet kids.
Like just extra, extra sweet. Just always.
Just always. Always, aren't you, boo-boo? Yeah. Just like loves to be snuggled. Loves to be snuggled.
I know. Actually, I'm gonna try to get a photo right here because it's like when I can get like all the species in one shot. That's my favorite.
About to leave the sanctuary, Micro Peeps Sanctuary near Lillian, Alabama. In one way, it's sad that this road trip is coming to an end. No more sanctuaries to visit, but I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to be able to spend the time now to start putting these stories together and making the videos that I want to share on YouTube. It's an amazing day and an amazing 2 weeks.